the switches to maximum amplification as Parker, Dan, and Angela prepare for their operation. With trivia and plot points scrawled across their walls, laughter and debate erupts as the movie's drama calls. The world may call them crazy, minds gone astray, but genius and passion and madness all dance the same way. Now the show begins to rise from its broadcast realm, and you can open your eyes as we dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film Podcast, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, are my wonderful co-hosts, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
And joining us once again to not have to talk about Tom Cruise's The Mummy, we have old man Brad in the house. What's going on, Brad?
Hey, thanks for having me. Thank goodness we are not talking The Mummy. You gave me a good movie this time.
Yes. Listen, you
more entertaining, let's just say that.
You and a couple wonderful people that are over in the Dissect That Film Discord were the ones who kind of voiced their love for this franchise, which is the reason why I chose to put it into the poll, which then ended up winning. And Dan and Angela will still say that it was rigged, but you know, it is what it is. We roll on, okay?
Normally I would say that, but I didn't have a problem with any of the choices. All of them were good choices.
They really were.
I don't remember what the other choices were.
I don't either.
I don't remember yours.
I just Underworld and then moved on.
Oh yeah, the Bourne.
movies,
Yep. And what was yours, Dan?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Oh, thank fucking God. I'm sorry, dude.
It wasn't.
I'm not prepared.
I'm
not prepared for him yet. I'm not prepared for him yet. Okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared of Lord of the Rings fans.
He's got to watch Underworld to lead himself up.
Yes, I need to watch a franchise that doesn't take itself too serious. Okay, Lord of the Rings takes itself too serious. All right, and their fans, goddamn, you read a name wrong, they might come after you.
Well, at least you start with Hobbit, then you can hear all the wonderful songs by Rankin and Bass.
Yeah, that's true. Because we definitely don't want to watch the trilogy from Peter Jackson.
Fuck no. That's it. I've never seen it. I have no interest in doing it. My boss told me I could watch it at work. He's like, you could watch these movies at work just so you could see them, and I just haven't done it.
You're such a cheater.
Oh, all right.
Weird beside.
Sure.
I need to clean carpets, sir. I can't watch the movie and do the carpets. Bullshit. You didn't watch Lord of the Rings. I mean, Hobbit. Sorry.
Oh, man. Well,
put it on now.
Put on the ring.
The one ring to rule them all.
Do it. Put it in. No.
You guys would be cleaning a room and he'd make you put it on the TV.
No, he would.
Do you think that the Lord of the Rings porn parody is a cock ring?
Have to be. It's the one ring to bind them all. It has to be.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be. There's no doubt about it. Well,
it never comes off. It never comes off, and you can't nut.
That's true. That's true.
Future episode of Dissect That Film.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, so if you didn't know what we were doing, we are going through the entire Underworld series. There are 5 movies in the franchise, 4 mainline movies with Kate Beckinsale, and then there's a prequel that's like the 3rd movie in. And we're literally going to do them in release order. We're not going to put the prequel at the end. We could have started with it, but we're going to just go by release. So today we're talking about 2003's Underworld, directed by Len Wiseman, who is directing from the world of John Wick Ballerina, which is comking out this year, which is the John Wick. I saw the
trailer for that.
Yeah, it's the John Wick.
The Armis.
Yeah. He directed 2 of the Underworld movies and then was a producer for the rest of them. He directed Live Free or Die Hard, which was the 4th Die Hard.
Yep, 4th one.
Which was actually, it was fine. And he did the remake of Total Recall. So,
isn't that the one? Did we talk about this? Is it Colin Farrell in that?
Yes. And Kate Beckinsale's in it too.
Okay, I remember putting together one of the big cardboard things at the movie theater and like a giant Colin Farrell head.
I remember putting out the cardboard like display thing at Walmart that would have all the DVDs and Blu-rays. I remember that. Yeah. He did a lot of work in like effects. So he did like miniature effects. He worked alongside Patrick Tatopoulos, who we talked about in the Godzilla episode, Godzilla 98, I should be more specific. He's the one who designed he came up with the design for Godzilla. Well, Patrick Tatopoulos came back and actually did the lycans in this, and actually in some of the movies going forward. And another effects artist who was involved in this movie that we've talked about before, it was Steve Wang, who we talked about for the Guyver. What, Dan? You laughing because I said Wang? Grow up.
He sells Lord of the Rings parody on his mind.
The cock ring's still there. It's still there, dude.
Yeah, so I thought I was really excited when I saw him, and I was like, man, he's just everywhere. And that movie, when did the Guyver come out? 91?
Something like that. Yeah, it's really early 90s.
Steve Wang's been around a long time. So yeah, it was written by Danny McBride, and I saw that name and went, oh shit, Danny McBride wrote this? No, it's not that Danny McBride. It's a different one. This is literally like the only thing he wrote.
Well, off of a story from Len Wiseman and Kevin Gravois, who was the big black guy in the movie with the Jeep.
Yeah, Raz.
Yes.
Yeah. He came up with the story, and he's a comic writer. He does comic stories and has his own like company and everything.
Oh, that's fucking sweet. Well, hey, listen, as far as being like probably one of the only things you ever did, we've had much worse writers that only did one thing.
That is very true. So it stars Kate Beckinsale as Celine, Scott Speedman as Michael Corvin, Bill Nighy as Victor, Michael Sheen as Lucian, and another Kate Beckinsale ex. She actually has a kid with Michael Sheen.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Yeah. They were never married, but they were together, I guess, for a long time. And then she ended up marrying Len Wiseman, and they were married till like 2019. They actually got married a year after this came out, and then we're married till 2019, which is literally, I mean, it's pretty damn close to Paul W.S. Anderson, Mila Jovovich, other than the fact that they're still married, unlike
I thought they were
the other two. No, they're still married.
That's a shame.
Yeah, Shane.
I'm kidding.
He's probably a great guy. He's probably a really nice guy. I just don't like his movies. I've talked about this. It's fine.
We
don't need to.
Just except for like
we don't need to beat the dead horse. Okay. I feel like it's
still there. You got to hit it.
It's rotting now. It smells, but I keep beating it.
I'd still hit it.
Okay, moving on. Shane Broley as Craven. Erwin Letter. No, not that Craven. That Craven's actually cool. This Craven, not so much. Erwin Letter as Singe. Sophia Miles as Erica. Robbie G as Khan. Kevin Gravois as Reyes. Zeta Gorog as Amelia. Scott McElroy as Soren. And that's oh, and Wentworth Miller as Adam Lockwood, who was the guy at the hospital. Where is he from?
Prison Break.
Prison Break. That was what I was thinking.
What we're talking about.
The funny thing is, wow. So this is a franchise that very much takes inspiration from Blade. And Blade and the Matrix. Yes. Blade Trinity had the other guy from Prison Break, because he's the guy who played Dracula. I can't remember the actor's name, but then you have this guy in this other vampire franchise. So there we go. That's all comes together.
This motherfucker was in Resident Evil.
Wentworth Miller?
Yes.
What was he in Resident Evil?
Go back to his thing.
Hold, please.
He's Chris Redfield.
Oh, yes, he was.
That cocksucker. I knew it. No offense.
In Afterlife. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, you're mean. I was just looking at the other guy.
I'm not shitting on the guy. I get excited sometimes. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Prison Break was cool. I liked Prison Break.
Oh man,
he's just got a lot of deep scars for the Resident Evil franchise that just come out from time to time.
I haven't even seen that movie. I can't even stand for it. I've only seen the first two, and I was like, I'm fucking done. I've signed the divorce papers. Like, here you go. Just somebody else can have you.
All right.
I'll stop. I'll stop.
Somebody who actually popped up in our Leprechaun 3 review last week, Gabe Bartalos, he was the one in charge of doing the effects for the vampires. Gabe Bartalos was the one who did the makeup work on Warwick Davis to become the Leprechaun. I was watching all the wonders of actually having physical media that gives you all those beautiful behind the scenes. I watched a lot of it. Some of it's kind of useless, but some of it was very eye-opening, and it really showed that this movie really wanted to do as much practical effects as possible, and I appreciate the hell out of that. The visual effects were done by Luma Pictures. There were 400 VFX shots in this movie, which, if you think about it, not that much compared to if you think about movies now and VFX. The number of VFX shots are just astronomical. Like 400. I mean, yeah, it sounds like quite a bit, but there was a lot of practical in this movie. The vampire makeup, most of the lycans, actually all the lycans, when they're in their full lycan form, most of the time it is a practical suit. It's like the way that they were able to do like transformations were really well done with the mix of the visual effects with the suit work. Fantastic. It really made me appreciate this movie way more. So good. There was a lawsuit after this movie came out from the creators of 2 video games, Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse. So Nancy Collins and White Wolf Inc., is the production company for those games, sued the production because the plot of Underworld, I guess, was very similar to those games.
Okay.
I guess it was... I guess there was a settlement that went through, but there's no numbers on that. But
I know.
Pretty interesting.
The vampire one, it's like a D&D with vampires. Like there's a whole book. I have the book. I've never played it. I just bought the book because it had cool artwork in it.
I remember
a game that type of like a role playing type of game that you set up.
Yeah,
so,
I remember a game coming out in like the late 2010s. It was like 2018, I think a game came out called Vampire the Masquerade. I don't know if it was like a remake of that or it was a continuation of the franchise. I can't remember.
I think just think of it like Brad was saying. I believe it's just like when they do a D&D thing. Like it's based on the core Vampire the Masquerade pen and paper game. Yeah. And it's just some digital rendition. There's the word. And this done in that universe. Probably with the similar to their engine, I guess, maybe to their game. Like D&D has the D20 system.
Yeah.
They had vampires and werewolves. How could they?
That sounds very similar to what I do. What? That's how that works. All right.
That sounds vague enough to be a lawsuit.
I feel like all podcasts should sue each other then. Hey, your podcast is very similar to mine. You talk about movies? How dare you? Suing you.
Yep.
Doesn't seem worth it, pal.
So do
I. Music was done by Paul Hasslinger, and he did a lot of music for my boy Paul W.S. Anderson. He did Death Race. He did Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. He did Monster Hunter, and he did the latest movie that's coming out or is out. I don't remember. The Lost Lands, which is already getting rave reviews. And by that sarcasm, I mean it's not.
Well, I was hoping it would have been like The Lost World, but it's not. It's like The Lost Lands.
It was I guess it was based on a short story by George R.R. Martin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
when
it
he's
good.
Not writing Game of Thrones books, he's doing other.
I don't think I seriously don't think he ever is going to finish that Game of Thrones book.
He's never going to finish.
He's just going to do everything else except for finish that book. So
just be like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave my work undone.
When he passes, they're going to be like, there's no manuscripts either. He never even started it.
This is going to be like
just been sitting in his house the whole time.
Yeah.
They think I'm actually doing something.
Caviar.
Oh, why?
Anyway,
why is it gotta be caviar?
I don't know, because we're just talking about it. You want like tacos? Usually it's tacos, canned tacos. Roll.
Oh my god.
No, anyway, he's gonna be like Tolkien. So the idea is like you don't finish, like you never like fully conclude all your work, and you're gonna have all these ideas and papers like left behind, like just let him piece it together. He's just gonna be like Tolkien. He's like, I'm gonna do that. That's what I want.
Isn't that what they're doing in Star Wars? Even though George Lucas is still alive, they're
well,
just
kind of, but like,
together.
I guess it works. You could do whatever. You could just take it and abandon all the existing extended fiction and just do your own.
Yeah, I wish they would do some of that extended fiction because older public shit. It's cool, and I want to see more of that.
Yeah, see, it's cool, but they kind of disregarded all that for the most part.
Which is lame.
It's very stupid.
Well, they bring little pieces in to be like, hey, here's an Easter egg. Remember when this was a thing?
Yep.
Here's Darth, whatever.
Darth Flaccid.
Dark. All right.
I don't know.
This was released like 4 different dates. We have September 15th at the Grauman's Chinese Theater. We have September 19th, 2003 in the United States and the UK, January 29th, 2004 in Germany, and April 22nd, 2004 in Hungary. It ran at 2 hours and 1 minute. It had a budget of $22 million and made $95.7 million at the box office. So it did pretty well. I mean, I guess at the rate that the tickets were being sold, the studio already had greenlit a sequel and a prequel before the movie actually was officially out. So
really,
they were banking on this.
They were
to succeed, and it did. It did pretty well.
Just how drunk are we gonna get?
Welcome to Good Beer, Bad Movie Night, where each month we drink finely crafted brews while watching terrible films in order to see just how drunk you have to get to enjoy them. So tune in and join Troy.
Killboy Kreitz.
Yeah, oh, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Dave.
I have the weirdest boner.
And Pete.
IPAs are ales, meaning they are bottom fermented. Excuse me, they are top fermented. I that up. Try that again.
As we drag Kathleen,
Hear me.
kicking and screaming through an alcohol-fueled podcast dedicated to movies of questionable quality and the frosty adult beverages that help make them tolerable. Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. Clearly, it's the beer's fault.
All right. Are we ready to hop into the plot of Underworld?
I'm ready.
Right, here we go. It's time to dissect that. Boom. So, the movie opens to voiceover by Celine, played by Kate Beckinsale. She talks about the war between the vampires and the lycans, werewolves, continued even after the ruler of the lycans, Lucian, died. And I guess back in the day, lycans could only change based on the moon, your typical werewolf lore.
Yeah.
But now they can change at will. They can literally change
the more
they
powerful ones can change at will. Not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. Yes.
Well, I guess I missed that line. I just thought she said now they're powerful enough to change. Okay, this is the line I heard. Now they're powerful enough to change at will. So that's where I went, oh, they can just change at will. All of them. All right.
I think she said the more powerful ones can change at will.
Oh, all right. Well, that's why you're all here, to fix my fuck ups. So
we try.
We find out that Serene is what we call a death dealer, which I guess is a dying breed. There's not many of them left. And she's pretty much just, her focus is to hunt down lycans.
Yep.
And then she does a cool superhero landing. She jumps off this very tall tower and lands really cool. And I loved watching the process of this whole thing because they actually did this practically, where they actually had a stunt person jump from 100 feet. They went to about it was like 50 feet before they got to the ground. And then they would switch it to a different stunt person who would then finish the jump. And then they kind of were able to get Kate Beckinsale in the shot at the landing part so that it would, have her walk off screen.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Then we see Scott Speedman, and he is wandering to the subway, and he's being followed by two gentlemen. And we go down to the subway, and then a shootout starts to happen. And then one dude has like a vampire, has vampire killing bullets because he shoots one of the vampires, and then he starts to like burn, and it's like sunlight. And I was like, he's got sunlight bullets. Didn't Blade do that? Wasn't there sunlight bullets in Blade?
There
I thought
was.
so.
Here
And
comes the sun.
every time there is a shootout in this movie, so many bullets are just wasted. No one knows how to shoot a gun in this movie because so much ammo has gone through. Like, what are we doing? There's no strategy. It's just free, just throwing your arm around. Just, I'll hit something.
And they do reload occasionally, too.
After so many centuries, you think they'd be
like precision shots.
Yeah. You know, she's like the one of the top death dealers. She should be like
every shot lands. Yeah.
She just got the job because she's really quick trigger finger. Like, you got to hit something eventually.
Every time they would show her holding the gun and shooting, that gun is all over the place. Like, there was one time where she's holding the gun and it's like she couldn't hold the gun straight. She's like, I'm like, lift it up a little bit. You're going to shoot the ground. Like, this doesn't seem like it's going to be comfortable for you.
Lock your wrist. That's why it's better to.
Why are you holding your arm out so far?
Yeah.
Like, that seems really uncomfortable.
Is it going to have the two guns pointed at the screen? Like,
yeah, it's exciting. Like, no, let's just try to hit what we're aiming at.
Should have worked on her core strength a little bit. Probably could have kicked my ass at that time, but hey, I'll still judge it.
I do kind of know what she's using. The first guns she comes out with are like the 3-round burst. It's an M92 Beretta Raffica, so it does 3-round bursts. Usually, sometimes they have a brace on them. Resident Evil people will know too. And then the other one she switched to, I didn't know exactly what it was. I knew it was a Walther of some kind, PPQ, PDQ. I don't know what they had at that time, something like that.
Yeah, I always loved those like automatic pistols. Those are cool. I hated
Giggle switches.
Those are my favorite. Like when you would pick it up in like Call of Duty, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is the automatic one. I don't want that single shot bullshit."
Yeah, and then you just like,
oh, you just completely waste. Yeah, you completely go through your clip in like half a second. Yeah,
as long as they're like very close to you, no problem.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But did you hit a few things along the way? That's what matters, right?
Yeah,
it's all about the things you shot along the way.
So yeah, everything is going down. Things are going crazy. We get, I think, Celine chases one of the guys. I love her little dive through the window at the back of the subway train, just like whoosh, and then lands and then rolls and then just runs. And then
very Trinity from the Matrix.
Oh, 100%. I mean, wearing that freaking leather trench coat.
There's so many shots in this movie. They're like, this is the exact shot from the Matrix, like driving the car up in the rain and just the way it's angled and everything. I was like, yeah, someone watched the Matrix. And, I mean, it was a hot thing after it came out. Everybody was trying to copy it. I'm surprised there was no bullet time in this movie.
Oh yeah.
What if we had the Matrix with vampires?
Yeah.
Len Wiseman's like, gotta go.
I could do that.
So, and we also get the big gruff lycan. You find out he's a lycan. You get the transformation. Love the transformation.
Yeah.
So
I love the transformation. Where it's like,
huh?
It's Raise.
Raise.
Yeah,
sorry, raise the roof.
With his really deep
Not
voice,
Raz.
and that's his. People thought like they did something. That's his voice. His voice is that deep.
Yep.
She was telling us that. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That guy, like, I need some change for a 20. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Take it all.
Let's go, please.
He's like, hello, how are you? And I'm like, please don't hurt me.
Well, he does, like, you know, like I said, comic company, and he has production companies. Can you imagine him calling you up to say, hey, we want to work on your production? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll never be late. You'll never be late to work if that's the guy that calls you.
No, absolutely.
Where are you at? Like, oh fuck.
He'd be alike with all the ladies with that deep voice.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
That dude's stout as fuck too. He's a big guy.
He is.
The transformation really cool though, because it goes from the digital effects of like the actual transformation, and then you get where it shows the hands. I love the cut because that's where they cut, so that when they go back, he's in full lycan and it's the full practical suit. So it goes from the digital down to the practical hands back to a practical suit. Done very well. And he just fucking wrecks this vampire. Like he smokes him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you have no chance against me. And then he runs around for a while.
You have no chance to survive. Make your time.
Until he meets Kate. I mean, you know.
So
I like how. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was to say, Celine follows the vampire that she was chasing. She finally ends up killing him. and then she then gets like ambushed by this guy, and she turns around, throws those like blades into him, and then it just cuts to her driving to the mansion that the vampires are based at. So you think
Back
that
to the
he like
Euro
died,
trash
right?
mansion.
Yeah. It kind of looks like the mansion from like The Mummy Returns, like the one that the O'Connells live on. Yeah. So we then are at like a lycan fighting ring. There's like this like backdoor, like black market or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Fight club.
Yeah. And like people
Underground.
yeah. And Celine can hear it happening. She's like in a room and she can hear like what's going on. And then they go to it and you see like there's two lycans fighting, like slicing each other up. And then Michael Sheen just comes walking in, Lucian. Well, you don't know he's Lucian at this moment, but you find out later on that's who he is. But this guy comes in, you're like
someone of
importance because he comes in, he shoots the shotgun, and he's like, "You need to stop acting like dogs." And then they shrink back down to their human form.
Yeah,
which is a cool transition, by the way.
Yes, very cool.
Oh, do you think after that got done and over with, like after like the, are we gonna say who this is? Are we gonna wait?
No, I just said it's Lucian.
Okay, so sorry. Lucian, sorry, my apologies. When he comes in, breaks it all up, you just see Michael Vick leaving the back.
Oh,
because it's like a dog fight. Topical. Not really.
Oh, right.
You can get yourself in trouble.
I try. I strive for it.
So Celine goes to the museum, which is clearly the home base for the vampires. And it's
a nice place.
Why in most vampire movies, when you go to like the place, right? They go to like a club or they go to like the home base. Everybody's just like hanging around. They're like, everyone's pale with their teeth hanging out. And they're just like,
that's why I said the Euro trash mansion. They're just they're all dressed up, just sitting around like judging people.
Yes. But it's not the only movie that does this. Blade did this too. Like it's like they're all hanging out with each other, just doing nothing. Like these are the useless people. They're just here because they're vampires.
Actually, now that you mention it, the Blade thing, because that's kind of the beginning of the first one. Like in this one, we have train scene into Werewolf Fight Club. In this one, it's like Blade into rave party kills vampires. It just feels kind of same-esque, just without the train station bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you could definitely tell that this was inspired by Blade. No. So she shows the what do they call the guys that like the guys that work in like an armory? What do they call them?
Gunsmiths?
Yes. Or armorer, I guess.
Armor? Armor being a person?
She goes to him and shows him the ultraviolet bullet that one vampire got shot by.
Light bullet.
They're like, oh my god, they harness sunlight and now they can kill us with bullets.
Well, and they make the comments that like lycans are too dumb to come up with this, so they must have like taken it from the military or got it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they could have hired or known somebody like that was like in the smithing / design.
Well, do we ever
industry.
see like who was the one responsible for making these?
No, I assume it's the twist, quote unquote. We find out later in the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that's where it all deviates from, but I don't know, unless it's the I guess, I don't know, the blood guy that does all the research. What are they called? Hematologists? What are those? Work on blood?
Oh, the guy who's like testing the bodies.
But I don't think that's all.
He
that
doesn't seem like a bullet guy.
No.
And maybe he knows a guy though, because he's smart. He knows. He probably knows.
Yeah,
he knows somebody that knows somebody.
That guy is.
His cousin does it. So
absolutely. Well, no, what if it was all the Corvins that they've been hunting? Like one of them's like, dude, I can make stuff. Like, all right, we might keep you around for something. I don't know.
You're useful to us now.
Yeah.
So she tells Craven, who I guess is like the leader of the vamps right now, because Victor's dead, and that because Celine keeps bringing up. He's sleeping
in hibernation.
Yes, because he's not. It's not his time to rule, as we would find out.
Correct.
But she brings it up like it's like she's like the daughter of the king, and then she's like, well, when Victor ruled, he didn't do this and this and that, and To be honest, at one point I was like, I kind of feel bad for Craven because she just keeps bringing up Victor, even though I was like, what the fuck? Like, he was put in charge. Like, they put him in charge. So, like, shut up, lady. But also, she just wants to do her job.
Part I don't get is that Amelia is the elder who's awake at this time. But why is Craven running thing? Amelia's off.
Yeah, she's like somewhere else. Yet the other two elders are in this crypt that's at this mansion. Wouldn't she want to be around that? Like, as protection, right?
They talk about the clans being divided by an ocean. Like, maybe there's like bloop bloop. Like, she's in charge, but she kind of like does all her stuff over here, and like fucking Craven's like on the other side. He's kind of like a fill-in role for like just this side, even though she's technically over everything.
Well, I feel like there should have been two people then awake. I think it would have made more sense if it was her and then another one, and then there was another elder who was sleeping, or maybe you have two more elders, so you have four total. I don't know.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't be able to hop through time, as he puts it.
True.
Yeah. True. Yeah. To be honest, so don't like Victor or don't like Craven. Not a fan of this dude. Just.
You're not supposed to, right?
No, I mean, when you find out who he really is, yeah, you're definitely not supposed to like this guy. But he's a guy. He wants to just be. He doesn't want to fight, you know. He just wants to live life. He wants to party. He just wants to do like fun things. And Selene is constantly wanting to fight, and it's like, yeah, wasn't she a death dealer? Isn't that kind of her whole point?
Yeah,
but he also wants her to be his queen, which is his biggest issue with her, because he's like, we're having people are coming for a ball and you need to be there and you need to be looking nice and all that. And she's so focused on finding this guy that she saw earlier being followed by these lycans. So
when Erica is right there, she wants to jump Craven's bones.
Oh my God. She wants that Craven dick so bad. Jeez.
She's craving that dick.
She sure is.
She is.
Oh man,
I like it. It's
Sometimes
good.
My brain works.
No, I have a good one later. Like, if we're talking about porn names and stuff for these kind of movies. So
the funny thing is that Selene really reminds me of just like a kid who just, when they're told no and they have to run to the other parent.
Yeah.
So like, she argues
that shit.
Yeah, because she argues with Craven about things, and Craven's like, no, we need to focus on other things. We don't need to always be worrying about the lycans or worrying about this random guy. Like,
I'm gonna go ask Dad.
Yeah, so she's like, fine, and like stomps to this crypt that's like guarded by a dude who's in like a control room. Can you let me in? Thanks. Boop.
Craven needs you. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she goes in there, and you see like these plates on the floor with initials on them. And you're guessing the V means Victor, but there's another one that has an M on it, but it's not mentioned who's in there at this time.
Not yet.
So the big man lycan from before, he finds the dead one that Selene fucked up in the tunnel, finds him, picks him up, goes back home. Dude, you want to know this man is built? They like zoom in on the fact he's wearing like this like black thong, and you're like, God damn. This man is built.
Yeah, he is a tree trunk for sure.
He's just walking in there, broad chested, just with the dude over his shoulder, like he's just carrying a log back
with his blades hanging in his chest.
Yeah.
Yep. Pain no never mind.
He is this when we see him get the blades ripped out by that guy?
Because they start to take the bullets out of the other guy and said it hit his organs. He can't regenerate. This one's gone, and so he turns to him and starts taking his blades out.
Yeah, I do love the last one he takes out himself.
He's got the little tool. Yeah. This must be his special blade tool.
Yep.
He don't want to get cut.
Well, it's probably silver as well, so
yeah.
With this shit on me.
He can't touch it.
It didn't bother. Was it Raz or Raze?
Raze.
See, there's I fuck it up again. It doesn't bother him because he's so much meat. Like, it doesn't get to like his organs.
But I also don't
like
think it's yeah. Well, it's also not like, like Blade. In Blade when they would shoot a vampire with what was it, with silver? Vampires with silver bullets too. Like what was Blade using that would kill the vampires?
They had
the garlic bullets.
Oh, that's right. And and they would just turn into like dust. I don't think that's what. I mean, that's clearly not a thing in this universe where like
it's a more agonizing death.
This lycan gets hit by silver, and instead of it just like killing him instantly, it's just very painful.
Yeah,
so
like shooting a normal person.
Yeah. So Celine is looking at the surveillance tape of the guy who got followed into the subway by the lycans, and I'm like, where did you get access to this camera? Oh, like you just have access to all the cameras in the city? All right, sure. Also, it was very fuzzy. Yeah, she knows a guy. Everyone knows a guy, right? You know a guy.
Yeah. But she's a death dealer. She just has access.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the funniest thing is that when she looks at the video and she pauses it, it's very fuzzy, but yet she zooms in on Scott Speedman's face and then it clears up. And I went, what? That's not how that works.
And then Erica was like, ooh, who's that?
Who's that guy? A human?
Selena's she's just like, enhance. Enhance.
Oh, it's like those TV shows.
Just print the damn thing.
It's like those TV shows that take pictures of tags on license plates on cars, and it just magically fixes itself, and they can read it. I'm like,
oh, the funniest is when you're watching
that's how that works.
Yeah, when you're watching like CSI or one of those similar shows, and they're literally like, the video is super fuzzy, but it's like, you think you could zoom in and clean this up? And they're like, sure.
Yeah, I do a few things, and there you go.
It's like, it's literally as clear as like our cameras right now. You're like, what?
Oh,
that's not how this works.
No, not how any of this works.
So Celine is shown the dress that she wants to wear, and I went, that's going to show everything. Is that even a dress? It's just like
it's a curtain.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I guess she's just going to show everything off. I'm not opposed to it, but it just doesn't seem practical, but whatever. But she's like,
pretty sure it couldn't be rated R anymore.
No.
After that.
She jumps out the window and drives away to look for Scott Speedman.
And there's one guy outside like, Selena, or Celine, not Selena Kyle. Celine, we have a fucking door. And like she just keeps jumping out a window, like all movie.
Yeah. I do like Craven's shirt that's got the really sparkly collar. I was like, this man knows how to party.
That pompous fuck.
So he doesn't like to get his hands dirty.
No, he surely doesn't. Mm-hmm. So we are back with the lycans. We're back with Singe. You think he's a lycan, or does he just work for them?
Well, he does get. I don't know,
because he never turns.
No, you don't see it. And he gets shot with like the bullets and stuff, but like anybody getting shot with that, if they're like a regular person, it would still be fucking excruciating. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. They don't really specify that.
Well, he is studying different people, and he's like putting their blood into like one of those cups. What the fuck are they called? Why am I blanking on the most
glass or like a
beaker? Like a beaker.
Yeah.
And he's testing the blood. If it turns black, it's negative, meaning it's not what they're looking for. And he's like crossing names off of the board. And we then meet Scott Speedman once again. Okay. He works at the hospital, and he's a nurse, I think.
Yeah, it looks like, or like
an intern.
Yeah, they mentioned intern. Yeah. Somebody mentions intern earlier in the movie. Like, they work all the time. I don't know what he does.
And he looks into a room and sees a little kid. And I thought this was going to go somewhere, and it doesn't.
I keep forgetting you watched the director's cut.
It does towards the end a little bit.
Does it
get explained? But from what happened to him when he was before he became a nurse, when he was like, if I knew what I knew now. So it's
so we didn't get this. We didn't get this we watched the theatrical cut, so you know.
Yeah, the funny thing was is that I watched the unrated director's cut, or whatever the heck the extended cut. And there's no option to just watch the theatrical cut. You just watch the extended cut. It didn't give me an option to do either. So, yeah. So if I miss something, or something just doesn't like it to me in my cut, we see him look at this kid, and then that's it. That we don't get anything else from this. And I went, oh, all right. Guess that wasn't important. So he is. Then we go back to Big Boy Lycan. and his really awesome voice. And then another blood test is done and is found to be negative. And then we're back with the vampires, and they're having a soiree. They're having a good time.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that. Soiree. I haven't heard that in a while.
They're still hanging out, judging people.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on couches, talking.
Yep. And Craven finds out that Celine left, that she's not coming. Because Erica tells on her. And I was like, Erica, you bitch. But then
she's like a little stitches.
But she gets it. Yeah, she wants Craven's dick. And to be honest, I don't know why. But here it is. Because there's nothing appealing about this man. He's an asshole. Nope. But
he's such a queen.
Greasy as fuck.
Euro trash.
Yes.
So the leader of the Euro trash.
Yeah, really. That's really who he is. Where
does this take place?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know either. Like,
it's just dark Gothic city. That's all I got.
I said we're in Gotham.
A lot of the cars, it has to be European because the cop cars are Mercedes.
Yeah, I think it is.
I guess it doesn't really say, because I know in the later movies it tells you where you are and where things are taking place, but this one really doesn't.
No.
It helps telling a story when you establish your location, but that's okay.
True.
We'll let that slide.
Big city.
Yep. Big Gothic city is what you got. So Celine goes to Michael's house. That's Scott Speedman's name. We find out his name is Michael Corwin. Or Corvin. Corvin. Not Jeff Corwin. I'm ready to go watch some animal stuff.
Dude, I love Jeff Corwin. Holy shit, dude. He was great. No Steve Irwin, but he was really good.
No one can top him. Celine, so she goes to his apartment. He's not there, but then he shows up a little later and she confronts him. But as soon as she confronts him, the lycans show up, because we get the effect of they're on the floor above, and the ceiling is like crashing down.
Yeah,
the wood above, or the ceiling above or below it. It's great. So this is when we get the iconic scene of Celine standing in the one spot outside the door, and then she shoots a circle around her and then falls through the floor. It's one of the things
she would have enough bullets to do that in her guns, right?
No, Mythbusters proved that wrong. We watched that episode.
You got to remember, she's probably based on the weapon she's using. She's firing probably a 9mm, anywhere between a 9mm, 40 cal, something in that, which is 0.38 to 0.40 of an inch per round. So you got to shoot a lot to cut this hole out and go through this floor, which looks like an older building, so it's probably fairly densely made. Yeah. And all the asbestos. I don't know if vampires worry about that, but asbestos.
But it looks cool, Dan.
It
looks cool.
Yeah. Analytics aside, it looks really fucking sweet. And that's all that matters.
And Michael Sheen shows up, and he bites Michael. So Michael bites Michael.
That's weird.
He does.
And then he does the weird thing where he has the blood in his mouth, and he takes that like vial out and just like spits it into it. Yeah. And then he gets shot a bunch by Celine with her silver bullets. And then we see him push out the silver bullets, which was actually a really cool effect. Where it like literally they could like push him out of his body. I was like, that's interesting. That's a new one for.
He pushes his blood out of his mouth, and it'd be like severely contaminated with his saliva.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. The sable's gonna be contaminated, and with the whole like, watch me push these bullets out. That just reminds me of like, when you're younger and the kids always had the weird tricks, like the dude would flip his eyelids inside out. Like that's what that reminds me of, like the lycan equivalent of doing it.
Like the guy who could like, or the person who could like bend their thumb all the way back to touch their hand.
It's like a fucking,
it's weird.
It's like a fucking party trick.
So, are you saying?
Ooh.
I used to be able to do it the other way.
At parties, he was just like, "Shoot me! Watch this."
Ding ding ding!
What I do?
He spits them out.
That's great. I love that.
Oh man. So they get to the car, they drive away, but guess what? Michael Sheen's like, I'm outside now, and I have a cool blade. And I was like, is that the blade from Hellboy? Like, that's the one that the dude's got, but that one he can like spin it around. This one is just in there. I was like, how does that blade fit in that jacket? That blade is like this long. How does it fit in that jacket without him? He's got to walk around like this because he can't bend his arm.
He just winds his arm up.
We don't ask questions.
Like the
We
clock
just go
guy?
with it.
Oh,
No, Brad,
there's one I
we
question
don't here
later,
at
too.
Dissect That Film. We ask all the questions
What if he's part of the Brotherhood of Assassins?
of the wolf.
And
No.
Yeah, and the vampires are the Templars.
Interesting.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
They're all noble and regal, so they kind of like go with the whole.
Yeah, that would
Or not. I mean, it's just not related.
That would
at
be
all.
really cool, though. I would love an Assassin's Creed where like the assassins are vampires or werewolves, and then they're fighting the Templars that are werewolves. That would be
be fun.
They've done wild shit like that, like already before. Where they've done like Odyssey and stuff like that. That's actually like, joking aside, like you guys said, that would actually be a really cool premise for an Assassin's Creed game.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there a game called like Order 1866 or something like that? It was like a PS4.
1886 or something.
Yeah, wasn't that like a werewolf?
Yeah, it's like a
game?
steampunk werewolfy kind of thing.
Don't ask me because I haven't opened mine.
What now?
What?
Okay. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna say nothing. Dude. I'm not gonna say nothing.
I have the game upstairs. I just haven't opened it.
Yeah, that game came out like at release for the PS4.
He gives me shit all the time.
Dude,
He's like, "You still haven't played it."
Hold on. I did buy her the game, but that like the game was not favorably reviewed.
No.
The main issue being it's really short campaign, and that's all there is. It's like 4 or 5 hours tops. But apparently it's fun-ish, fun enough.
Hey,
but there's nothing else to do.
Oh, what's the game where you shoot the holes in the floor?
Shoot the holes in the floor.
Orange and blue.
Orange and blue.
Fuck.
Half-Life?
Oh, Portal.
Portal. Oh.
I beat both Portals in less than 4 hours apiece. So
well, no,
I don't care how short it is.
That's fair. But the whole crux of this thing is we got it for. I'm not blaming her. I got games I bought that I haven't played either. We paid like $5 for it at GameStop, brand new. Because like nobody was like, but she's like, oh, she always wanted to play it. It's just still wrapped. It's saran wrapped.
I can't.
But I have movies. We have like a stack of fucking movies upstairs. Never opened. Fucking years. I've never opened them.
There's been a couple we've watched for the podcast that we've had to unwrap, and
it's like, oh yeah, we own that. Like when we watched Leprechaun, and I forgot we had Leprechaun, the whole fucking collection on the shelf.
Yep.
They're there when you need them.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing about physical media. It's always there.
Sure is.
So a movie.
Yes. Back to this movie.
Where the blade in the car that's where we're at.
Yes.
He's coming after him.
Yeah, he stabs Celine
right in the shoulder.
Yeah, and he flies off, and then he gets hit by the car. It does like a crazy flip and lands. That was all done practically, by the way. They actually did the stunt where the stuntman got hit by the car. And then there was actually the shot of him flying over the car was actually a stuntman bouncing off of a trampoline and doing like the moves and landing. And then they just put the car in after and then blended it all together.
It looked good. Like I liked it. We'll talk about more at the end, but yes, I liked it.
They always
except for the fact that, except for fucking I don't know why, like he's got this blade arm and I know like things like happening, but like he has a really bad shot with his blade, like where he's aiming. Like, dude, you know where she's at.
She's in the driver's seat. Why are we aiming for the middle of the car?
Yeah, like multiple times. Like I get it, but like, come on.
He's trying to hold onto the car as they're going really fast, so maybe he was a little off.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, because there's momentum, and he's like probably like he's got to keep his.
He just ran really fast. Okay, he just ran really fast, so he's maybe a little disoriented. He's a little dehydrated.
Yeah,
yeah,
fair.
He just had to spit that blood into the little vial. And it's still.
That was a lot that he just went through. He had put a lot of energy into pushing those bullets out of his body.
That
made me think of something. They reference this later in the movie. It's not important how they make like synthetic blood products, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they have vampires that like they have like dip packs?
Probably
vampires.
There's probably a bunch of
with their blood. Just like tuck it in their lip. It's just blood packs.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. It just hit me. I don't know why.
Yeah, they probably have like a whole like product line of just like blood related stuff, candy, potato chips.
I want to see that. I want to see like the vampire walking around and putting his blood dip in.
He spits in, it's just
Big,
blood.
Like, yeah.
It comes out clear because he takes all the blood out of it.
Yeah. Just plasma. It's fine.
Yep.
I do love though they're in the car and Michael goes, "Hey, stop. Let me look at you because you're losing a lot of blood." She's like, "Hey, just relax. I've done this before. I'll be fine. Immediately passes out. As soon as she says she's fine, she just goes, and then they just crash into the water. And they escape. He is able to drag her out of there.
Thank goodness. Whew,
so, yeah, it was. I thought the movie was about to end.
He does bonk his head, though. Oh, the glass.
So, Michael Sheen goes back to the little lair there and gives the blood to Singe, and he mixes it, and it doesn't turn black, but just like it's just red in there, and it's like it's positive. It's like, oh my God. And he's like, how are you sure it's him? And he's like, I tasted him. I know.
He knows.
I can feel his flavor.
That's pretty much what he says. I still have his taste in my mouth. From where?
God.
Don't you ask questions.
Damn it. So, idea. So, because you said it, we're doing it now. So, the porn version of Underworld, I don't know what you're going to call it, but I want a character, because people are called with lycanthropy, or sometimes called lycanthropes, right?
Yep.
Lycanthrope, just thought it'd be a good one.
All right.
This is lycanthrope. Why is he called that? Talk about that.
Don't you worry about it. Oh, man. So Michael is brought back to the mansion, and Craven is really mad about this because, for one, she skipped out on the party and then came back to the mansion with a human. And
at what point does Craven take a hint? She doesn't like him.
No,
she's just
there was nothing.
He just won't take a hint.
Yeah, I guess that's just what these type of relationships have to be. It's like, who gives a shit? They don't like me. You're gonna be my. I picked you to be my queen. Exactly, 100%. This is when she realizes, hey, I think Lucy may be alive. Just maybe, because she remembers seeing the amulet that he's wearing.
Yeah,
and she's like,
I got a book. Where's that book?
Oh, is this the one where she looks into like the book that's behind glass? It's like the ancient text of the vampires. Yeah.
She has a problem. Celine, outside of just breaking into people's homes, why does she never shut the fucking door behind her? Ever?
Because it's not cool.
Like,
I gotta leave it ajar every time.
This one, she kicks open the door, boom, leaves the door wide open, breaking shit. Like, I'm being subtle. Like, sure you are.
I know.
Nobody
She broke the door, it won't close.
What? Yeah, exactly. When you're just wearing straight up leather, you don't fucking open a door regular. That's not cool enough. You have to drop kick it.
I'm surprised she can even lift her leg that far in what she's wearing.
Parker, I know you're not going to do this. I just want this movie. Oh, not you wouldn't do this, but I want this movie released again. But every time Celine walks, I want the squeaky boot sound effect from the Squeaky Boot episode of SpongeBob. Like,
oh yes.
Like, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way that suit is silent. There's no fucking way.
I swear she's wearing a dive suit.
I mean it. Yeah, I mean it could have been the base. They didn't show what type of material it was, but they show her doing the stunts, and they show her like actually moving around in this suit. So like, it's not like they had to like do effects to make it work. I don't know. But Erica shows up to look at Michael, and she realizes that Michael's a lycan because she finds the bite. And I love
this thing. Always cracks me up.
The one where she flies up to the ceiling and turns around,
she
just
jumps to the ceiling and like.
Why do vampires hiss? Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
Bats. She's part cat.
Do bats?
She got bit by a vampiric cat.
She hisses at him multiple times.
Yeah, she's got really long fangs.
She
clearly the fangs move, because when they're talking, you could tell they have some sort of fang, but
they're retractable.
But you could see how long her fangs were when she like hisses at them, and I was like, why? And I'm just like questioning, like, why do vampires hiss? I just don't understand. Is it supposed to be scary?
She can stick to the ceiling, but
yeah, she's a cat.
That's the only one time that anyone ever uses this, power.
Yeah. Craven slaps the shit out of Celine in this next spot. He's pissed off because she brings Michael back to the mansion and just fucking and I was like, Fucking Jesus, dude. I wanted her to just fucking smack him back.
Should have.
So,
nice.
Since the lycans have these light bullets, the vampires now have silver nitrate bullets, which pretty much do the same exact things. I don't know why it took so long for the vampires to figure out to make this. It wasn't until they got a light bullet that killed their kind. They're like, we should probably make something that'll kill their kind. It's like, but wasn't that the point? Aren't you trying to kill the rest of the lycans? Why wouldn't you have had this before? Why is this
After
just
they
happening
talk
now?
about the lycans being so dumb that how could they come up with this?
Oh God, never understand these things. But yes, this is where we get one of the twists of the movie, and you find out that Lucian or Craven is working with Lucian. And you're like, oh shit. Oh,
you didn't mention the skin in the book. Why would they just staple skin in this ancient text?
This is supposed to be because she looks through the book, this like ancient text, and then she reads about Is it Lucian? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a whole section about him, and pretty much Victor's he was branded by Victor, and then Craven cut the skin off of Lucian and then posted it in.
Killed him, and this is what he brought back.
Right,
the piece of his arm.
So pretty much, So Craven was tasked on killing Lucian.
Scrapbook.
So pretty much, none of the elders knew this. None of the elders knew that Lucian was alive. Craven was the only one who knew he was alive.
Mm.
But now Celine knows that he's alive because of what happened before and based on this book. But then this is where you get the clarification that Craven is working with Lucian, and you're like, oh shit. And I didn't realize that Victor wasn't dead yet. I didn't realize because they don't really talk about him being asleep. I thought he was dead.
He's not there.
I thought he was dead. I thought it was like the end of his reign or whatever, and he was dead. And I was like, did Lucian kill Victor? But then you find out that Victor's not actually dead, so that whole question just goes out the window.
Yeah, he's hard napping.
I want to know how they get to the point of the hard nap.
I don't know. I guess they just have an allotted time they rule, right? Yeah.
They talk about like there's supposed to be like somebody else's turn and it's a rotation.
There is the cycle, but I mean, we'll get to it in later movies.
Do you think they clock out?
There's a time clock.
Yeah, it's like they have like an electric one, but they have like an old stone calendar that chisel into it.
No, they clock in and out like they do in the Flintstones.
Oh yeah, don't they have the pterosaur? They're like and it bites on the
Yep. We also see a picture of the medallion that Celine sees Lucian wearing in the hallway, and though that was her clarification that he's alive. Yeah,
she puts two and two together. She figured it out.
She did. She's
smart.
She's like Batman.
Yeah,
she is Batman.
So Michael gets fixed up, and he escapes. He goes back to the hospital where he works at, and his friend there fixes him up. But then his friend gets the cops because he notices the bites, and they were also looking for him earlier. So, and he's also trying to explain to him like what's going on, and his friend's like, "Sure, that sounds realistic. That sounds real. All right, pal." I do. Then we're in like the bathroom at the mansion or whatever, and Celine just writes Victor in the the glass on the mirror is all fogged up, so she writes Victor and then wipes it away. And I went, was that supposed to be dramatic? Because it really wasn't that dramatic.
Say his name 3 times and he show up.
That's what I was. She's gonna be like Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
But then you find out later why she did what she did because explain. But
why she wrote his name on the glass?
Pop up behind her.
Yeah, it was part of what she's about to do, so she could explain everything to him to try to
the memories go through the blood or whatever.
Oh,
but it's all jumbled for him.
Right.
Yeah, because she doesn't have
He's like
power.
freaking out. He's like glitching.
Yeah.
He's not loaded in yet. Hang on.
But yeah, she needs to talk to him. She needs to see him. So she goes downstairs and pulls up his sarcophagus, and they literally sleep upside down like bats. And then they're able to like turn it over, and she opens it up and is able to feed him. There's actually like this little thing that like slides over his mouth where she like bites herself and then lets the blood pour into his mouth.
This big contraption that they have that's so elaborate, but yet they hadn't thought of silver nitrate bullets.
Yeah.
Now
this thing is like ancient. They're like silver nitrate
liquid.
bullets. Yeah, we figured that out 30 minutes ago. Like, huh?
A liquid in a primarily liquid environment would interact better than a solid.
Wow. Science. Bill Nye, the science guy.
Yes.
Bill. I
Bill
wish the
just,
science guy
Bill
was
just
named
pops
Bill.
out. Bill just pops out of nowhere. Let me explain to you about silver nitrate bullets.
The movie freezes and he
Yeah.
comes in.
not Bill Nighy,
No,
who
Bill.
chews up every
Oh!
scene he's in,
Yeah.
but Bill Nye.
Bill Nye. The legend that is Bill Nye.
Hell yeah.
So Michael ends up going back to the mansion, and every time Craven is pissed off about something, they always zoom in on his face, and he's just like, "What is he doing here?"
And did you think anytime he talked, he kind of struggled with the false teeth?
Yes,
of like
100%.
He tried, but
He's
no,
like,
it was,
yeah.
It was great. There was a blooper reel on the Blu-ray. I thought it was funny. There's literally scenes.
Oh,
of,
was
like,
it?
Kate Beckinsale doing like really intense scenes, and then she goes, "Oh shit, I don't have my teeth in."
Fair.
So yeah, Craven's just a grumpy man. And Victor's awake. Bye. She literally wakes him up and then pieces out.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, Craven, just let you know, woke up Victor. All right, gotta go." Just leaves.
You can answer to him now.
Yeah, and he's like, "What the fuck? Set me up like that, Jesus." Listen, the guy.
I just told on you to Dad.
Yeah.
You're in big trouble.
Yeah, that's literally what this is.
This guy sucks, but I'd have been like, "Damn, that's fucking cold." Like, she doesn't even know the full extent of what Craven's doing yet, so she's just a bitch. So Celine finds Michael, brings him to like a hideout, I guess, where they have like,
It's their like safe house.
yes, and it's got like fake blood or like plasma blood or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's their like their front
synthetic
company
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she verifies because Erica tells her, "Hey, your guy there, he's a lycan. Like, he got bit."
Yeah,
and she's like, "Nah, I don't believe you.
lying. You're just setting me up.
Stop it. Just because it's my boyfriend."
Did Craven tell you to say this?
Yeah, literally. That's exactly what happens. But she verifies, and it's one of those was like, "Oh, she was right. Darn it."
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Can always be wrong.
And she goes through and explains the war, about how it's been going on for like 1,000 years. And does she explain how she became a vampire in this scene? Where she tells him about how she would like that Victor was the one who turned her. And
because she says he says something about why, because Scott Speedman asks him why he started the war, like who started the war, and then she of course blames the lycans.
Of course,
like the sit on the
That's what
windowsill,
knows.
like
look out
expunge
while
or
it's
whatever.
raining out the window. Yeah, because she explains like her entire family was killed and Victor like saved her and then turned her because he had lost his own daughter, and so he kind of like took her as like a replacement.
Lost.
Yeah. We'll find
He's
out
getting
more
another
about
one.
that. So Victor has a chat with Craven, and it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well for Craven because he's trying to explain what's going on. He's just like, "You suck. You're not doing anything. Like, we're supposed to be wiping out the lycans, so you're just kind of useless."
But come on, Dad. She's being mean to me.
She's not listening to me, and she doesn't want to be my queen. Come on.
I just wanted to be my
You just
girlfriend.
tell her. Just tell her. Like, tell her she has to.
Yeah.
Well, we sound like like angry teenage girls right now.
Yeah, right? It's like, I know she's your favorite. You don't have to lie to me. Oh. And he's like,
Why do
his hair
I
out
always
the
get in
way, like-
trouble and they never do?
I'm going by roomless MCR. And I like MCR, so everybody relax. Not you guys, chat.
Oh,
Wherever they're
God. It's so funny.
But while he's complaining, Bill Nighy just chews up the scenes.
Oh, he's
Every
so
line that he
good.
delivers.
Oh, he's great.
That's why he makes the Pirates of the Caribbean movies so good.
Yep.
Because he just chews up every scene he's in.
Yes, he does.
But he's literally
he has this like slow delivery that's just like
so intentional.
Yes,
he like elongates words that shouldn't be elongated. But I love the look of him too. So this was like, I watched the behind the scenes where it literally shows them doing this whole getup. Like they had to do a body mold of him, and then like he was talking about how people would ask him like, is it just a suit that they zip up from the back? He's like, no, it's all like this latex stuff that it took like I don't remember if they mentioned how many hours it took, but it was his entire body.
Yeah.
Or at least from the waist up, because I know he had like the thing covering below, so I don't think they had to do that part. But I love like the blood tubes going into his back as he's like walking around and he's talking, and you're like, this is cool.
They're trying to juice him.
Mm-hmm. And he's like glitching out because he's having these flashes of Celine's memories. And there's times where he's like sitting, he's like,
yeah,
he's like, they're all jumbled up memories. And Craven's like, do you think he'd notice if I just sneak out right now?
he just freezes in one place. It just says buffering. Like, I'm getting the fuck
just
out
a
of here.
little circle. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yes.
Craven just sneaks off. So while they're at the hideout, Lucien prepares for a fight. And then, I guess I skipped ahead a little bit, but she talks about how she was turned. We already talked about that. Michael explains that he had a wife or a girlfriend and she died in a car accident. And he almost died in the car accident as well. And is this have to do with the chick or the person he was checking out in the room earlier?
This is kind of where I kind of played the two together, that he just kind of.
Okay.
Is this where he's Scott Sadman?
Yeah.
Speedman didn't work out for him too well, huh?
Sorry, Scott Sadman.
He's sad.
No, he was like, babe, my name's Scott Speedman. That means I can speed. And then they get in a car accident.
Oh,
now he is Scott Sadman. Scott Wittleman.
Oh,
poor guy. So we are back. I love this. I love movies that do this. So as we mentioned before, Erica is hard for Craven. She wants him so bad. She is finding every opportunity to be able to be alone with us. He is literally like, he is stewing over the situation in his room. And she just walks in and he's just like, all right, report to me. And she's just like, how about this? And just drops her
forget about
blouse.
that.
And he's just like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I like that he's just like,
all right.
Okay.
Because usually some other movies, they would have been like, the guy would have been like, yeah, get out of here. And I was like, no, you wouldn't.
That's later.
Stop it.
That's later.
That's true.
well, realistically, just saying, most dudes in that situation, he's not technically tied to anybody. Just somebody just walks in. Are you just gonna be like, nah, dude? Just saying. Realistically.
Not today. I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm busy.
I mean,
listen.
in that moment, I don't know, but
I'm sorting my vinyl collection. We're gonna need to
come
leave.
on. What's the average time? A couple minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got time. I just said, well, that's one way to stop a conversation. Boobs.
So this is not in the theatrical cut. None of this. Just pointing it out.
Wait, their sex scene's not in this?
No.
It's
not theatrical. And nor Scott Thadman.
I think in the theatrical, she comes in and then it just cuts.
Well, you don't see anything. You don't actually see her boobs.
That scene's not even in there. Like, she doesn't go to him in his chambers. That scene doesn't happen.
Huh. Interesting.
He missed out on boobs.
Yep.
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Well, you don't, like I said, you don't see anything. They have a weird sex scene though. I was
that
like, is this supposed to be sex? Like, they're just kind of on top of each other and like, he's like biting her and I'm like, what? Is this vampire sex? Like they just bite each other? I'm very confused what's happening. It's not very sexy.
You got some old blood behind your ear.
Yeah. So we're back with Celine and Michael, and after both of them tell their stories, and then they kiss, and I was like, why are they kissing here? But then it leads to she only does it so that she can handcuff him to whatever the heck she handcuffs him to. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, why are they kissing here? There's like nothing has indicated that this should be happening, but then it leads to something else. So it was fine.
Scott like looks her in the eyes. He becomes Scott aroused man. He's like, oh, so you're into the kinky shit, huh? And she's like, no, you're just staying locked in here.
Yeah. So Celine goes back to the mansion because she's going to go talk to Victor, and Victor is really upset with her because he wasn't supposed to be awake for another 100 years.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be Marcus's turn. And actually, Marcus was literally being woken up tomorrow. Like, it was so soon. What are we doing? And you hear the whole thing about how there's supposed to be one elder awake and two are asleep. So Amelia was actually coming to the mansion to wake up Marcus, and I'm guessing she's going to be the one to go, and then she goes to sleep.
Yeah, but it's like, I just think it's like really extreme version of like your alarm clock didn't go off.
Yeah.
So I slept an extra 100 years. Shit.
Damn it.
They went through time change.
Yeah, change where the power went out, the power flickered. The fucking clocks.
So Celine goes to him and says, hey, Lucien's alive. And Victor's like, what? Well, we need proof before you could just start spouting out nonsense. But then he's like, well, you woke me up. You're not supposed to wake me up. Like you're not even qualified for this process. And so I'm going to have Craven.
Then he mentioned saying,
proof.
go get Marcus. And he's like, he's not awake yet.
Yeah. And he's like, Craven, you're going to go get the proof that Lucien's still alive. And you're going to get judged for your betrayal. And so pretty much there's going to be this whole thing where it's supposed to determine whether or not she's going to be put to death or what kind of punishment she's going to face, which doesn't go anywhere because she ends up escaping. Well, she gets like thrown into her room, and then she just
He'll show her
room.
no mercy.
Yeah.
Just his delivery.
Craven being super tough. Yeah. Goes so well for him.
Such a
well, he's so mad
as he's fighting the false teeth as he's trying to be tough.
Yeah. Well, the thing is
almost.
Yeah. Well, the thing is he is talking to some other vampires, and he mentions the fact that she's supposed to be his queen. Like he wants her to be his queen. And Erica hears this, and she's like, "Well, fuck you then, bud." And then she helps Celine escape, but then immediately turns around and tells Craven that she escapes. It's like, what is happening here? Who are you?
That kind of gets a little more credence to why that happened in the theatrical cut, because where they like made love or whatever, her and fucking Craven. So it makes a little more instead of just being like slopping for him. I mean,
yeah.
Just get your pair of panties on, just in case. Swap them out. She always has an extra pair. If she's just like hard for this dude or whatever all the time, gotta have an extra pair.
Yeah. Can't be too prepared, you know.
Question: Do vampires menstruate? It's not an appropriate question. I just need to know if this happens. Does that happen anymore?
I think
that's dangerous.
Well, they're undead, so technically, right? So I doubt
that's what we talked about. Well, because they still need blood. But Angela was questioning why their hearts are beating. I was like, well, they still die from a stake from the heart. So I don't know. I'm really curious. Like, do
because even when they're bringing Victor back, like when it zooms, which I think is really cool, when it zooms into the body and you see his heart go.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, why is his heart beating?
Legit questions. I don't know. Vampires can apparently get pregnant though.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting thought.
Just a random thought. Carry on. Sorry.
It's probably not the first time it's ever been asked.
Yeah, I doubt it.
So the armor guy and his group was supposed to be the one to go pick up Amelia for the process or the awakening of Marcus. And
Kane? Is that his name?
I think so.
Something like that? Okay. That dude's cool. I like that guy.
Yeah, Kane or Khan.
They're like, it's okay. Soren's going to go get him. It's not his job.
Yeah. Fuck you. And
I'm Craven. I tell you what to do.
Yeah, I'm a hunter. No, wrong thing. Sorry.
Shit.
So yeah, they got to go pick up Amelia. She's the third vampire elder. They get there. They're on they could show up on a train. And as they show up, she's this beautiful, vampire who does nothing, by the way. You don't even hear her speak. That's how little of her you get in this movie. And then the lycans show up and they lay waste to every single vampire. And I do like my favorite.
Soren is his team is just
they're just watching it. I thought that was great
with his Matrix sunglasses on.
Yep, with no reaction. Just
nope.
And then they get in the car and they leave. Yeah, great.
Well, that's a shame. All right, guys, let's go.
The funniest thing about this movie, for me at least, was Celine is in her room, right? And she's stewing over the everything that's going on. This is before Erica shows up to help her escape. And you hear dogs barking outside. Did they take the audio from like old 1950s Disney cartoons? Because that's what the dog barks sound like. It did not sound like an actual dog. It sounded like I was watching 101 Dalmatians, and it was just the dogs barking. And I was like, what?
Apparently the dogs were very friendly, and they had to use video of them running around, and then they added the dog barking.
Oh, I don't want to say it's awful. It's just funny because you're just like, that is not what a dog sounds like. I mean,
nope.
It's close, but it literally sounds like they just took it from an old Disney movie.
Stock footage or stock audio. Like, yeah, take this.
But Michael starts going through the change because he escapes when he escapes from the hideout. He actually gets snagged by those two cops, and he's in the back seat. And clearly, they work for the Lycans because they know what is about to happen. So he's like changing. You can see him.
He's not gonna make it, man. Yeah. Just turn the radio up.
Yeah.
Those are the two Lycans that were fighting at the beginning in the dogfight kennel thing.
Oh,
that was those guys. Yeah, they dressed up as, they've been the cops. It's the same two dudes, but dressed up as cops the whole movie.
All right. Mm-hmm. So the Lycans, they find Michael. Wait, why did I say
this scene? I thought, again, you go inside the body, and I think it was really cool how it's like the ribs are all.
Oh yeah.
It's very the music gets all muffled when it goes inside. And like
he has to pull up his shirt so you can see everything that goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if I was, I'm just looking back going, let me out of the car, please. Please let me out of the fucking car. I don't care if I can change into one of those things. Please let me out of the fucking car. I don't want to be here.
We gotta knock him out so he doesn't change. He can't change yet.
Mm-hmm. So the Lycans take some of Amelia's blood, and they're gonna bring it back and do something crazy with it. Michael starts to change. Then we talk about the inside out view. It's really cool. Celine finds the evil doctor, and they talk about the Corvinus clan, where it was one vampire, one lycan, and one human.
Yeah, you got to get your big exposition dump right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, okay, here's your 5 minute.
And pretty much the blood of somebody in that clan can kind of help blend the breeds together. So you could literally have a vampire lycan hybrid.
But you need an elder and then a Corvinus blood so he can.
Yep. And that's why they take the elder blood. Yep. And so they need his blood in order to create this like super creature. Craven pieces out. He just leaves. Like, bye. And then you're like, all right, see you later, dude.
Yeah.
And then they find out that they need to kill Michael. Or no, that does he tell Celine that she needs to kill Michael, or is it Victor?
Yes.
No, I think it's Victor.
Victor
tells her, yeah, you need to kill Michael and end this. Because if Victor just kills the doctor, like he's trying to tell him what's going on, and after he explains it to him, he just fucking slices his face and he's just dead. And then Victor just
have we got the flashback scenes yet or not yet?
I didn't mention the fact that Michael keeps having these flashbacks where he's seeing scenes from Lucien and Victor and like these vampires around, and you find out that the Lycans were like slaves to the vampires.
Yes.
And you find out that
during the day.
Yeah, and that you truly find out that vampires were the ones that started the war.
Mm-hmm.
That the vampires are not the good guys, and which is actually a cool twist. I like the fact that, because it kind of, you go into it thinking, right, your main character is Celine. She's a vampire. She's working with the vampires. So you kind of assume the vampires are the good guys, right? And the Lycans are the bad guys. But I like this twist where it's like, neither side is good. I mean, the vampires are actually more bad. Victor is actually the bad guy. And you find out Lucien is just pissed because his woman got killed.
And depending on how old the version that you watch is whether you have the scenes from the third movie or not.
The version...
Really?
So the version I watched has, I'm guessing, not the girl who plays Sonia, in the third one, in the prequel.
If it's Rona Mitra,
it's
in
not
in those scenes. Okay,
it's Jasmine Damick.
Okay,
and they don't look similar at all.
I have it digitally, so when I watch it, it's the newer.
So I'm taking it. So I'm
okay.
taking it that this scene in the movie in Rise of the Lycans.
It's very very similar, almost exactly.
Oh, okay, okay. So they just spliced it in newer releases of the film.
Yeah, once they made the third one, they went back and added the scene, so that way the actress was the same in the.
I'm very confused why they didn't do that with this collection, because this is all of them.
Yeah,
this is all the all the movies. So I'm surprised that
is weird.
That. Yeah,
especially because it has 5, so that you don't have that version on the disc. Maybe they still had so many of these discs made. They're like, can't.
I think it's okay because. I think it's good if you haven't seen the third one, if you haven't seen the prequel, knowing that that's what that movie is about. It's about I think the prequel is about Sonya and Lucien's relationship and kind of like whole
I would
history
assume
or whatever. So
Amelia has a little bit bigger part in it.
Oh, good, because she doesn't do anything in this movie. But yeah, it's like this. You find out like literally the entire history of why this war is happening. You find out that Sonya, who was Lucien's love, was actually Victor's daughter, and he killed her because she wanted to be with Lucien, who was a lycan, and it was against the rules. And then
she was pregnant.
Yeah. And then you find out that Victor killed Celine's family in order to take Celine. Like he was just
basically his daughter, his replacement for Sophia.
Yeah. He was also a tyrant. Like he literally he was a fucking asshole.
Yeah, they even said, Craven even said that he liked to hunt humans secretly in his pastime.
Yep.
Even though he said he didn't want him doing that, he did it himself because it was just an old thing he liked to do.
He's a hypocrite.
Oh yeah.
He gets bored on a Sunday night, he's like, I'm gonna go hunt some humans.
Mm-hmm.
But we forgot to mention the fact we see Victor in his like full form, like he is fully resurrected or regenerated, and
they do mention that they were slaves, but the werewolves were the older wolves were just in wolf form. They didn't transform into humans back and forth. They do kind of drop that slightly.
I can't wait to watch that prequel now.
Yeah, I do. I want to see it. Like,
can't wait to watch that prequel now.
A lot of this stuff will come into play later, not just in the third movie.
All right, I'm looking forward because I've only seen this one and the second one, so I'm very excited to venture into the rest of them. So Craven shows up to the lycan hideout or wherever they were, and ends up shooting Lucien. Because Lucien is kind of just like, yeah, you're fucking done. I don't really need you anymore.
With his silver nitrate
bullets. Yeah. And you see the effect. You see like the veins and stuff. And
he's like, let's see you spit these bullets out, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Not so good this time, pal.
No.
And then Big Boy Lycan finds him and gets really mad. And then transforms and then chases the vampires down into like a lower part or into a different part of the sewer hideout, and then fights the dude with the whips.
Yeah, it's Soren.
Yeah, so Soren just all of a sudden is like throws his jacket off. He's got 2 whips wrapped around his shoulders. What?
I got to get my bird. My bird. It's fucking the dude. His Whiplash from Iron Man 2.
bring me my bird.
Bring me my bird.
He's gonna
Palladium in the chest.
No, he's gonna whip it good.
Terrible way to die. What?
He's gonna whip it good.
I wish it was like as they're fighting. It's so out of place, but it's perfect.
Licorice whip. Oh,
is it fighting in a big puddle of water?
Does this fight end, or is it we just see him fight and then it kind of goes away? Does one of them die? Does Soren die?
Soren dies.
Yeah, Soren dies. Okay.
He gets his whip.
He gives him a kiss on the neck and he dies.
He gets his whip stuck in something.
Yeah, he gets snagged on something. Like, did you have another one?
I know.
Just
I love how they don't let go. Yeah, they're just like, oh no, dude, just let go. You're a vampire. You're pretty fast too. You probably could run.
Exactly. You know what? Exactly.
You don't want to die anymore. Let it go.
That's it, dude.
So yeah, you find out Lucian didn't die from the bullet. He's still alive, and
He's hanging in there.
Craven's a little bitch. He's just a little bitch.
He is.
Victor, he just chokes out this fucking lycan. This dude transforms and then walks up onto Victor, and Victor just is like, "Ugh!" He's like, nah, just
bitch,
tosses his ass, and
salad,
just tossing ass. Oh man! So Craven shoots Michael with the silver, and you're like, "Oh shit, things are getting crazy." And then Craven tells Celine that Victor was the one who killed his family. This is where we get the whole thing about Celine and her family, and that Victor was the one responsible. So, like, I don't know where Craven is right now. Like, where is he at? Where is he standing right now? Like, he is just good. He's like, I guess I'm going off to do my own thing. Because,
well, he gets a blade in the leg first.
And then, he does, and then just fucks off. He's just gone, and you're like, all right, I guess you're gonna be in the sequel. I guess you'll be in the future movies because he doesn't die. At least I don't remember him dying. Did I miss it?
No.
He just walks out. See ya.
See you later.
That's because he doesn't like to get his hands dirty. He tries to.
He just wants to party, man. He just wants
sneak
to
away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go back and hang out on couches and talk about people.
Yeah. And Lucian was the one who tells Celine to bite Michael because it'll heal him, because he'll have both the vampire and the lycan blood, which then will make the super lycan. And she doesn't.
But what would happen to her? Like if she bites his blood, because she's going to get that in her mouth.
I know. Does she get the power too? I don't know.
We have to wait and see what happens to her.
Yeah, I guess so.
What? What'd you say?
I said by the power of Grayskull.
But yeah, she does that, and I love that Victor just walks around the code. He's like, "You're not supposed to do that!
Stop it! That's dirty. Get it out of your mouth."
And then
he grabs her by the back of her neck, like her scruff. Let go! Let go! Let go, Scott Speedman.
And
back in the back of the head.
And before and before anything can happen with Michael, Victor just picks him up and just tosses him out like a window. He falls to like a lower level, and you're like, "Oh well, he fucking did."
If you wanted, why didn't he just pick him up and like snap his neck?
Right? You think that would be the thing to do? Yeah, that would make it. Yeah, it would make it super easy. Movie over.
And then we'd
Victor
all be
wins
like,
again.
"No, Scott Speedman, no."
Yeah, no, not Scott Speedman.
Well, so when Victor knocks out the first lycan,
kills him.
Well, yeah, but he stabs him with the sword that he pulls out from
his coat.
Where the hell, I don't know. This sword is like 6 to 7 feet long, and then he stabs this lycan and immediately has an orgasm.
He does. He nuts so hard.
Where'd the sword go?
But he's not fully like juiced up, so it's just like a powder. Like,
Why couldn't he have stabbed Scott Speedman with the?
He's been napping for so long that there's nothing juiced up in there.
Could have.
Exactly. I wish he stabbed Scott Speedman and be like, "You liking that?"
Is this the second time that we've talked about a movie with Brad where someone comes and it's just powder? Because we did talk about a mummy, so
yeah, I can't help that he comes. Yes, he joins us for mummified things.
I bring it out in him.
It does.
What can I say?
So Michael changes. How do we feel about the ultra lycan vampire look, where he's just gray?
A gargoyle.
Scott Wolfman. I mean, Speed Wolf.
He's like gray with like fire. I don't know what's going on with his rib cage. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's an interesting look.
I think he's fine. I like the transformation where it looks like the lycan transformation at first, but then it comes back in.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because he's both a vampire and a lycan, so he's not going to be a full lycan. So the fact that he has he's got like the teeth and all that, and I think his eyes are all blacked out too, which is cool.
Solid black.
Yeah, really cool.
He's got the big claws.
Oh yeah, which is
Starts
great.
playing.
I just love the fight between he and Victor, as there's like he like throwing him up on the wall, and then like he pins him against the wall, and then they hiss at each other. I'm like, why are we hissing? Why do we need to hiss? Why is that a thing?
He's hissing and just like drool out of his mouth.
Oh yeah. So much drool. Golly, it's a lot. It's a lot of. How much water you got to drink to get that much drool? My lord. So
they get one of those blue chews.
Oh god. It's not the only sword fighting going on today.
Ting, ting, ting. That's not the sword.
Yes.
Even in a fight scene, though, he chews up the scenes.
Oh god.
Like, yeah.
He's like,
it's great. He just Bill Nighy is having a blast. Like watching the behind the scenes of this movie, and anytime he's talking about it, he's not talking about how like ridiculous about this is and all that stuff. Like he's just having a great time. He's actually talking about like the vampire lore and all this stuff that they're like that they wrote for the movie, and he's having a great time. The dude literally ran around in a freaking pajamas to be an octopus man in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. He wasn't the biggest fan of doing that as he was being Victor, but I mean I know for a fact he comes back for a lot of the sequels. So at least one of them. Oh yeah, right. He dies in this. So okay, that's true. Damn it. Like I said, I haven't seen the other ones except for the sequel, and it's been like 20 years. So they fight, and then you have the thing where he's literally choking Michael out. And I went, we're resorting to choking out. That's where we're gonna go. Okay,
yeah,
it's kind of lame. But then Celine finds the sword, and then she does a cool jump and then lands
like this slow motion.
Oh, it's great.
It's like she's floating down.
One.
Yeah. And my favorite thing is he turns around and he like reacts to it, and he looks like he's about to like fight her, but then he like freezes, and then half of his face just slides off, and then he collapses, and you're like, yay, bad vampire dead. And then
I love in movies when they do that type of stuff where they like slice them and they sit there and react like nothing's happened, and then I was like, oh shit.
Like, I'm sorry, that's an instant death. I'm sorry. Like, you're not reacting to that. You're just like, I'm dead.
You see,
again,
Resident Evil.
We're bringing up Resident Evil a lot.
Yep.
With the lasers get him,
yep.
And he just stands there and then just turns into meat cubes.
They zoom in, it's the eye melting.
Yeah.
You see that dramatic effect a lot in anime movies too. Like something will happen to them, like, and they'll keep trying to move, and then like their head or something will fall.
They just
off.
like turn into mush.
Yeah. I thought she had missed, and then she shows the blood, and I'm like, where the fuck she get him? And then he starts bleeding from his face. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought she cut his head off. And I was like, oh wait, okay. A little higher, but that's fine.
Yeah. So pretty much Mike is the Lord of the Lycans, because literally he stands up and all the Lycans are just like, bye.
Yeah.
They like disappear into the darkness. Like, we don't fuck with that guy. That guy's our king. If anyone asks, that guy's our king. We don't fuck with that guy. And then we're back at the tomb, and we're back with the evil doctor who's been dead for like the last 25 minutes. And his blood is seeping into Marcus's tomb. And it shows, I think his eye opens, right?
Yep.
Yeah, his eyes open.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about this, though? I think we answered our question we had earlier. If he's actually a lycan, because the guy opens his eyes and they go black. So the regular, and then they go black. So he had to have been a lycan. But why would that work? I know he's a noble.
Marcus is a descendant of Corvinus.
Oh, that's
so
right. He is too. I forgot. Yes, so that makes sense. Oh yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it's just some trash dude. Like, it's like not even like a high end like vampire. Lycan. It's just this fucking dude. He's like, it's the blood guy. Unless he was injecting himself, he could have been juicing.
Yeah,
he could have.
Could have been doing that. Well, that's it. That is 2000.
And then you get your prologue.
Oh wait, there's a prologue
now. Where she explains that they're gonna be hunted now. Like we're
oh shit, I missed.
We're
this.
on the run. We're hunted.
She's gonna be hunted.
Wait, was this an after credit scene? I don't remember.
No, it's not after. It's a brief thing after the eyes open, or either right before or right after, where she.
It's right,
because it shows her. It shows her like on the fucking rooftop, or like on the tower again that we kind of see her in the beginning. Right? Is she doing that when she's explaining this?
It's narrated as it's going to his tomb, Markov's tomb.
What? Was it not in my cut? I do not remember hearing this.
Yeah, it was an arc.
Yeah, where she talks about they're gonna be hunted now, and like, because the vampires will be after her.
Alliances will be made.
Must have been really late last night, and I was like, it's over.
She talks about 2 elders were killed, and she killed one of them herself.
Yeah,
that night. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Sequel, setting up the sequel.
They're already ready for it.
Are you looking for a movie podcast with deep dives, interviews, and thoughtful film analysis?
We ain't got none of that. What do we got?
You want to hold the bucket?
Right, I'll hold the bucket, sit in the cuff
chair. There with I will never blink. I'll just be there holding the bucket.
I will never blink on her drapes, most likely. You look like a drape jizzer.
R.I.P. that sweet, sweet pussy. It is known that Jessica Tandy had the sweetest pussy in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google it. Don't Google Jessica Tandy's pussy, you guys. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Doom Generation. Available anywhere you find podcasts.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess now that's it. That is 2003's Underworld. Now it's time to go around the room and share our final thoughts on the movie. Brad, what are your thoughts on this wonderful movie?
I fucking love this movie. I saw it in the theaters, and the moment I walked out of the theater, I was like, this movie kicks ass. I love it. Absolutely loved it. I've watched it countless times. Like, I almost didn't need to rewatch it before this, but I was like, you know what? I love this movie so much, I'm gonna watch it again. Like, I just love the world that they started to build with this, with death dealers and vampires and lycans, and how they take the lore that you know and kind of change it a little bit to add some other pieces to it, because it's very comic booky, the way the story is, the way the setup is, the way everything kind of goes. And of course at the time the Matrix was the hot thing that you loved, so this was just the Matrix with vampires. Instead of green hues, it's blue. But yeah,
all right. And
that's why in our chat when Underworld started coming up, I was like, I love this series. They're not all bangers, I'll tell you that. It fizzles towards the end, but they're still a fun time.
Yeah, this was a franchise I remember when the final one was released, or the final one had a trailer, and I went, wait, they're still making these?
They wanted to make one more. There was a plan to, I think, funny enough, I think one of the plans for 6 was to go to space.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Gotta go to space.
Everybody's got to go to space.
Jeez, Angela.
But I think Kate Beckinsale was like, "I'm getting too old to play Celine and do this anymore. So I'm over this.
Yeah,
let's move on."
The funny
and 5 didn't do well.
No, I mean I haven't looked into it, but I know that it kind of sizzled because people were just getting tired of this. I think the actress who plays Sonia, is it Sonia? In the prequel, she was actually one of the top picks to be Celine. And then when she didn't get the role, they made her Sonia in the prequel. Because I remember seeing a trailer for the prequel, not knowing it was a prequel, and I'm like, that's not Kate Beckinsale. Is she the same character? Is this supposed to be like Celine back in the day? But then you find out no. Yeah, it's nothing to do with her.
You'll find out more.
Yes.
When you get there.
Angela.
Directed by Patrick Topless, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. All right. Now go ahead, Angela.
I have never seen this before. Ooh. And from what I had heard about it, I heard it wasn't good and people didn't like it. So this is when it started playing on, I think it was Sci-Fi, when Sci-Fi first switched over to their SYFY logo. And so I went into this with very low bar. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I love vampires and lycan, so I'm into all of that. So it was nice to see what they did with it. I'm just mad that the vampires didn't sparkle.
They don't all need to sparkle, damn it.
I'm just kidding.
Just those goddamn Twilight ones. Get that shit out of here.
That was so stupid.
Raven Spark collar.
Yeah, he had the sparkly collar.
Yeah.
That was as sparkly as you're going to get.
Sparkle we needed. Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
All right. I'll try this without coughing. I promise. I have not seen this in a very long time. My brother I recall him, like I mentioned at some point prior. I remember my brother liking these and renting it from Hollywood Video when he worked there. And I enjoyed it. It was good. I remember like watching it again. Like, I remember this scene. I remember this scene. I remember the ending fight, like just vaguely in my mind. But yeah, it's good. Like it's a really good movie, or like at least a really entertaining movie. I think it's pretty good. Scott Speedman, outside of like him as a character, pretty much does dick all outside of being like the comeuffin or whatever you want to call it, MacGuffin, for like the whole fucking movie. Like everybody's like, get Scott Speedman. I need Speedman. Which is fine, but I don't that doesn't detract from me. He's just like this guy that got pulled in and just everybody they want him for a reason. But no, like I like the characters, the atmosphere, the tone, how everything was. And like they fucking nail it at the beginning when she comes down off the rooftop and everybody's wearing black.
Yep.
Even pedestrians. They're in black raincoats, black umbrellas, everything is black. And I was like, well, you get the tone for the movie. No, it's fun ride. It's very enjoyable. I didn't realize it was 2 hours, as Parker and Brad know, because I made this late. And I thought it was shorter than that. So anyhow, but it was still fine. It flowed good. I like how it did. It played out. You know, Bill Nighy or whatever was great. He's fantastic in this movie. So it was a good time. And random aside, years later, there were two prominent, well, at least one prominent Magic the Gathering character named after a character from this movie.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a character in Magic called Soren. And then there's another character named Amelia that came out just like 2 years ago.
A Soren of all the fucking characters? He did Soren?
Spelled different. Soren Markov. Yeah.
Oh.
And he's a really big character. No, he does not use whips.
It needs more whips.
I wonder if that was a Castlevania reference.
I don't know. I wish that fight was longer because I love that fight.
I wish it would have started with "Die, monster! You don't belong in this world," but it wouldn't make sense. We'll do that whole bit one day. That whole bit will happen on this show. If you know, you know. But that was good. Yeah, you should watch it if you haven't. You should really watch it.
Definitely watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie's a blast. I love the practical effects, the way the lycans look, the vampires. I think it's just a really cool world. And the lore of it is really interesting to me. I love the fact that it's not just your basic like good guy, bad guy. I love that there's like twists after twist of like, no, who you think is the bad guy really isn't the bad guy. It's just a misunderstanding. It's just like, it's government. It's just like it's the government manipulating you to believe one thing when something else is actually happening. Or just like the history books are fucking with you. And yeah, it's just really well done. I love all the performances. I think Kate Beckinsale, she's great in this. I think everybody's great. Scott Speedman, to be honest, Scott Speedman is just like whatever. I've seen him in a handful of things, and everything is just kind of, he's not terrible, but he's just not memorable. I just always like saying his name. We did cover The Strangers on this show a long time ago, which is where the Scott Speedman gag came about. And he shot his friend in the face in that movie, so he's kind of a douche.
He did.
He didn't shoot anybody in the face, any of his friends in the face in this movie.
No, we only had one friend, and his friend kind of fucked him over. So
yeah, we'll see how you feel about him in Evolution in the next one.
Yeah, for some reason I thought this was the one that had the sex scene between Celine and Scott Speedman, but I think it's the sequel. Yeah, I literally watched the whole movie and went, I thought there was a sex scene. I thought they had sex with each other, but all right, guess that's the next one.
That was Craven.
Oh yeah, if you consider that a sex scene, no one took their clothes off other than a girl in her top. Like, all right, but yeah, this is a good movie. This is a great movie, and we're gonna remember, since we're doing a franchise again, we got to do our rankings, and we're only gonna do one ranking, and it's gonna be the movie. And this has to be number one because we haven't covered any of the other ones yet. So after next week, could Evolution beat out the original? Well, we'll see next week, because next week we're covering 2006's Underworld Evolution. And I'm very excited because I haven't seen this movie in a very, very long time. And I get to see Kate Beckinsale run around more in leather. So
you do.
It's a win-win.
There you go.
And you get more Scott Speedman. So
we sure do. Before we go to the end of show fun, we're going to go over to the social medias and see what you all had to say about Underworld. And guess what, guys? I actually have everything organized on my note app, so I don't have to go to every goddamn app to see what comments you left. So now everything is nice and organized for myself.
Nice.
I worked extra hard on this episode. We're going to head over to Twitter where our first
work.
Yeah. I don't do that much, but I did it this week. Our first comment is from our good friend Darren Lundberg from Nostalgia Cast and Back to Bluey. He just says, it looks good.
Darren.
As only Darren can leave.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, Lord. We love you, Darren.
I guess he likes blue.
Yeah. It's blue and leather. And people just wrapped in leather. Our next comment over on Twitter is from @Suns and Shadows, who says, the first is a terrific movie. Kate Beckinsale just jumps right in and tackles this with more talent than she needed to. The Krusty Boys says, not enough leather.
Yeah, I've seen that comment.
We need more leather.
Not enough?
Not enough leather.
It was everywhere. The walls were leather.
I don't know what else. Well, I guess not all of the Eurotrash vampires were wearing leather when they're laying on the couches.
I just wanted everybody wearing a gimp suit the entire time, right?
Yeah, the lycans don't wear leather.
That's true.
Maybe.
Imagine they had like leather jackets.
Better have Ray's, right? Is Ray's, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm so bad at this. Have him just assless chaps the whole movie.
I mean, he pretty much has his ass out, so
he does.
Yeah, but
we
like
need
the
the
whole
chaps.
movie.
Oh, the whole movie. Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, but that would at least you'd still get the ass shot, but it would increase the leather quota. Because he's got like that furry kind of jacket he wears, like Leon from Resident Evil 4.
He does. Now, they always take their jackets off before they're fighting. After they're done, do they come back and be, oh, good, my jacket's still there.
Yeah. I always think that too. Like,
I didn't think about that.
When somebody's doing something, they have to like put something down. You're like, did they go back for that? Did they shit? I gotta go back for my...
I've always thought that in Star Wars too. They take their robes off before they fight. Do they come back? Oh, nobody took them. Good thing.
You see one stormtrooper is like, oh shit. You see Obi-Wan? He dropped his robe. Just fucking runs off with it. Son of a bitch! Not again. It's a third one this week.
Ooh, these things are really warm.
Yeah. No wonder they wear them all the time. Why would you wear it on a desert planet? Seems like a bad idea.
Maybe they're on to something. This whole Force thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. At Doomgen Pod, or our friends over at Doom Generation, says, I haven't watched it in forever, but I remember liking it. You should watch it again. It's a good time.
It should. It is a good
Did
time.
she spell liking or liken it?
No,
Just curious.
liking.
Okay.
She didn't make a lichen pun in her comment. Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
It is easy to do.
Our last one over on Twitter is from @Darth Emick, who says, I loved this movie a lot when it came out. I think I've seen it 30 plus times. I still will watch it if it comes on TV.
That's motherfucking Mike, by the way.
Oh, all right. Hello, Mike.
Oh, he's Mike Mathis. He's from
Remember the Game?
Remember the Game. Yeah.
Okay.
Known him forever. He's a great
Thanks,
guy.
Mike. Thanks for the comment.
Thank you, sir.
We had a couple over on Instagram. The first one is from Big Bad Wolf 884. It says, my introduction to the sexy Kate Beckinsale. Actually, this might... No, I saw Pearl Harbor before.
At least the name was topical.
Yeah. She's not quite Blade, but I love the film and some of its sequels. Werewolves are superior. #change my mind.
My daughter would agree with that.
All right. Well, after the comments, we'll ask the important question. And then we have @Bucket of Chum Podcast. Love this movie. The second one is kind of trash, but the third one is underrated. But this one is a fun action vampire flick. And the last one on Instagram is from Big Optimist 33, who says, I've seen all of these in theaters. I love this franchise. That's our, you are one of the reasons why this franchise was picked. That is our patron and Discord pal, Daniel Collins. So thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it.
This franchise is fun.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen the whole thing.
We'll see how your ratings are.
Yeah.
We'll see how your ratings are at the end.
Oh, yeah.
We have one from Threads, who just from Cool H24, just says, hell yeah, I love Underworld. Yeah. And then we had one over on the Slasher app from Gorehound 1971 who says, fucking awesome.
Okay.
All right. There we
Forget
go.
about that app. I have an account.
I only will post if we're covering a horror movie, because of course it's a horror centric app.
Yeah.
So
that lines up.
Yeah. So usually if we're covering a horror movie, I will post in there. We did get a couple posts from people over in the Discord. One of them is from Give Me Back My Action Movies, who just posted the Billy Madison "So Hot" gif.
Veronica Vaughn.
Thank you, Charlie. Yeah. And then Daniel Collins posted in the Discord, he just says, I'm curious which version of a certain scene in the first movie Parker will see. And I'm not sure what scene he's talking about. He did post a gif of Lucian walking into the dog fighting ring and acting like a pack of wild dogs. Was there something different in that scene that I missed?
I don't know.
I don't know what scene he's talking about. But I guess when he listens to this, he'll let me know. So let me know, Daniel, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. Because you watched the extended one.
I did.
And so did I. So
I guess just has the sex scenes in it.
There's some other lines throughout that are thrown in. It's 13 minutes longer.
Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. So yeah, when you listen to this, Daniel, please let me know what scene, if I talked about that scene, because I don't know. All right, well, that's it. That is everything to do with 2003's Underworld. Like I said before we went to the comments, next week we're talking about 2006's Underworld Evolution. And then either we're going to talk about the prequel after that, or we're going to jump into a different movie to kind of separate the franchise, because we don't like to do the entire franchise at one time because it just kind of becomes too much. So we like to separate them. We did talk about possibly covering a Gene Hackman movie to kind of celebrate Gene Hackman. So that might be an episode we do in a couple weeks. We're still figuring out what we're going to be doing. So yeah, that's what we're doing. But now we're going to hand it over to Brad as he tells us where we can find his wonderful show and all the wonderful things he does over there on Old Man Brad.
Well, you can just search for Old Man Brad. You'll find me on all the podcast apps. If you're social media, Blue Sky is where you can find me the most. That's where I spend a lot of my time. My show, I talk horror movies. I bring on filmmakers, interview them. I talk a lot of Tubi films. I have a series called Tales from Tubi where I dig the depths to find you those diamonds in the rough, and let me tell you, they're hard to find.
I've been on a couple of those.
And you're coming back there's a new one coming this year, so I know you're real excited for it.
I'm so excited.
Run.
But yeah, I have a couple interviews that I'm really excited about coming out here soon. One to deal with the new Mickey Mouse film Screamboat.
Oh boy.
Which is a wild, wild film. But yeah, I'm just having fun out there.
Hell yeah. And yeah, everything that Brad does will be down in the description. All the links that you need to find the show. Yeah, your interviews are great. Like seriously, if you literally need to build a playlist of movies to watch on Tubi, like just go listen to Brad's show. Most of it's horror if you're into horror.
Yeah.
But it's well worth it. And
if you follow me on social media every Tuesday, Tubi Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, I put out a theme and we watch movies to the theme.
And what is great about Brad's show, other than his show is great, is that it's short and sweet. Like, so if you are on a time crunch and you just need to fit in like a half-hour show, Old Man Brad's the place to go.
I don't dissect that film. I just give you my thoughts, and I'm
he
in and out.
leaves that terrible burden to us.
Yep.
We can't stop now. We can't stop now.
It's in
late.
the name, so
it's
can't
too late.
stop.
We're almost 200 episodes into this thing.
Yeah,
we can't
true.
turn back. As for us, you can find us on social media. We are on pretty much everything except Instagram and Threads. It is Dissect That Film Pod. Every other social media app is Dissect That Film. You can to make it all easy for you, you can just go to our link tree on any of those social media apps, and you get pretty much links to everything. Our merch store over on TeePublic. We have a Patreon that you can join right now at just for $1. You can join and get uncut versions of the episodes that we release every Friday. Pretty much with some extra goodies in the beginning, and then pretty much everything in between. There is no editing involved. So if you want that, and then there's some future things I have in the works, but I won't go too deep into that. But yeah, join our Patreon. You can join at the free tier and join our Discord, because we have a Discord. We have a full functioning Discord. It's a really fun, cool place to hang out and talk movies, talk video games, talk toys, comics, physical media, all that fun stuff. So if you
it's
join,
a very active Discord,
very active Discord. I'm very happy and proud of where this Discord has gone. It's probably the most successful Discord I've ever ran, and I've ran like 2 other Discords in my life, and they were just awful. So it's fun that it's actually being used and people are actually enjoying it. So yeah, and if you want to join it, you can just go to our Patreon and join at the free tier. It just makes it easier to kind of work it in that way. So that we don't have 1,000 members and no one does anything. I just like to make sure people that are in there, are going to be a part of it. So it's free. Go to Patreon, join the free tier. It's free. Do all that fun stuff. If not, if you don't want to do any of that, yeah, exactly. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can email us at dissectthatfilm@gmail.com. I never shout out our email, but if you have any suggestions on movies you want to talk about, that you want to hear us talk about on the show, or just suggestions for things you want to see covered on the show, or just want to say, hey, I like your show, or hey, I fucking hate your show, just email us. That'd be cool. Or you can DM us on any of the social medias. And we're on all the podcast apps, of course. Make sure to rate and review us. Leave us 5 stars, because the more 5 stars we get on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, the more it gets pushed out there and more people will discover the show. And that's kind of the point of doing this, is to get more people to listen. And then we're on YouTube, youtube.com/dissectthatfilm, where you can watch the video version of the podcast. Yes, I don't care what people say. It's still a podcast, even if it's in video form.
Yes.
I won't say anything.
I don't care. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe over at the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting there. Guys. And it's all up to you. Make sure to leave a comment and tell us about the episode and all that fun stuff. And then I think that's it. I think I said all I had to say. And I just want to thank Brad one more time for being here, because we love our guests and we love our friends.
Thank you for having me.
This crazy,
and thank you for not making me watch Tom Cruise run again this week in the sand and stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
We'll make sure next time if we ever talk about a Tom Cruise movie, it'll be a good one. All right.
I love Tom Cruise movies. Just The Mummy's not one of them.
No. All right, everybody. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. Oh, wait. I did forget something. I know I forgot something. I always do. I didn't thank our wonderful patrons.
Oh, goodness.
I know.
You're fired.
I knew I was going to forget something. All right, last but not least, I want to thank our wonderful patrons. We have Billy Joseph Jr., Andrew Schoening, Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast, Corey Morissette, Daniel Collins, the Flicks and Friends Podcast, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming, Anna Presley, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Jason, Robert Stewart, Rudy5453, and the Baron's Hideout Podcast. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. And thank you to everybody else for just supporting us, period. We love you. Make sure to share the show so we can get more people to listen. That's all. Next time, we love you. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan Angel of DNA Gaming. And that is Old Man Brad. And this has been another episode of the Dissect That Film Podcast. We'll see you all again next time. Bye.
Bye.